Hello, community! Chiz here, back with another episode of Should I Buy It? Formerly known as my overview and introductions. If any of you are new, what I do is I take a game and do a quick overview and introduction. It's not a review. I just want to show you the game from a player's perspective, talk a bit about the mechanics, what's involved with the game, a little bit about the story, type of game it is, and just to give you an understanding of what it's about so you can make the decision whether you want to purchase it or not. That is the main idea of these videos, is should you buy it? So we're going to start off today with Divinity Original Sin. Let's get it going. It's an RPG, turn-based, party-based. It will be very familiar to any of you who have played the Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale games of the past. Wonderful pace, wonderful tribute to these games. It's challenging, it's deep, there's traps, there's elements, there's social interaction. It's very deep. So let's get it going. I'm going to start a new game. I want to show you a bit about character creation, what's involved, and why it works the way it does. You have multiplayer and single player. At any point, a friend can jump in and play with you. Control party or party member, take control of them in combat, and kind of walk around on the screen with you. You kind of open up the game to let people jump in that way. So we're going to go with single player for today. Larian Studios would be the developer. I have not played many games by them, I must say. There is a whole development kit included with the game that lets you create your own campaigns, missions, that kind of thing, so that's always cool. And it adds a lot more. For 40 bucks, that's the price of the game, you are getting a lot of game. So you see here, I have two characters on the screen. Why two? Well, social interaction between party members is a big part of this game. It's an actual, there's a whole mechanic to it, and it is basically your party of four. Two of them are your characters throughout the entire game. So you're creating these different characters with different personalities, and they interact as you go. So they form opinions, but you choose the opinions. So if you want your knight to be this stoic, noble kind of fighter, and you want your rogue to be a brooding, dark, other type of character, you can have them like so, and have their opinions, personalities clash as you go. And I'm talking actual dialogue comes up where there'll be parts of the game where they'll want to interact, and there'll be a little icon above their head indicating so, and you get them going in a conversation, and you're literally choosing dialect for each one. Do it how you want. You can make them agree, you can make them disagree, and it brings a lot of randomness to the game, which is beautiful, especially for replay. But because once the conversation concludes, depending on what the outcomes were of each of the responses, it may go into like a rock, paper, scissors kind of match to see who wins and what's going to happen next. So the rock, paper, scissors is played, it's a little mini game where you choose what you want and you kind of just rock, paper, scissors between your two characters. And there are attributes that contribute to how successful you are going to be, or each character would be on a case of rock, paper, scissors. So I think you can change the sex. You can change the sex, you can change the look, you can change the skin, you can change the hair of each character, kind of make them, tailor them to your liking. So what I'm going to do right off the bat is choose a default class. You see down here there's a customize button. So yes, you can create your own class. Basically from scratch, make it however you want, but let's we'll do a knight with We'll choose the base of, let's just say, a ranger, a marksman with a legendary knack for self-preservation. You see, there's lots of classes, right? All kinds of magic users, clerics. You know what? Let's go cleric. I haven't tried a cleric yet. So, but we'll customize our cleric. We'll leave that as so. We won't fuck with his settings. We won't change his hair. We won't change his skin or his look. We'll leave him like that, and we'll customize this one. So, like you see, we can change her picture. Let's choose some red hair. Oh, that's kind of fitting. And personality. So this is the kind of responses she's going to take out of the conversations. Let's make her priestly.
Perhaps I can detonate that explosive from a...
I may have a blade or two that could use a honing. What can I cook up today?
Have I got any...
Have I got anything that needs a good firing?
Let's do wizard voice, sure. We'll leave all her, you know, skin color, head, hair color, underwear. Underwear, you probably want to see that. Boom, look at that. Okay. And on the left here, you see you have your standard attributes of any RPG. You have your abilities, which are more geared towards combat. So that's going to determine what skills, which I will get into in a second here. So, and your talents. Okay. So right off the bat, our priest has single-handed, which we'll leave. Our other options are bow, crossbow, two-handed. As you go up, it requires more points to invest in a skill, or an ability, they're calling them. Armor specialist, shield specialist, we'll leave that. Nice, okay, so armor is like your efficiency with heavy armor and such. Bodybuilding is saving throws against physical statuses. Shield specialist, we want a shield, she's the cleric, that would be typical. Hydrosophist determines how many Hydrosophist spells you can learn. Okay, so we want Man-at-Arms because we do want her to have some melee skills. And I know one of these categories, I think it's a Hydrosophist, has many healing abilities. Yeah, see, like this one. There's, each category has a whole line of skills that go with it, and you can switch them out at any time. You'll see there's a skill bar along the bottom you have for each character once you're in-game. Alright, you have personality stuff. Alright. There's a whole crafting system, which is pretty straightforward and intuitive. I'll get into that. I kind of like her abilities right off the bat, so I think I'm going to leave those alone, but I think you get the idea of how you can change them. Like, if I take out both these points, I can then invest another one into single-handed, because that requires two. But I am going to keep my original ones. Talents, these are extra little fun things, right? We all know these. So, Anaconda increases your damage with crushing weapons. Okay, so I don't want that one. Here's about durability. I know gold's abundant enough in this game for repairs and everything else. Let's give her a light stepper. +2 perception bonus for detecting traps and secrets. We always like that. We want to ensure that's in our party. We don't want to miss any secrets, obviously. Any of you RPG fans know where I'm coming from. Look at that. Zombie lets you heal from poison but causes damage from regular healing. So many options, and you unlock more as you go. A demon. A character with demon has a chance to burn an opponent who strikes with a melee weapon, but takes a 25% penalty to water resistance. Like, isn't that neat? Okay, so we'll leave her 10. Do we want Anaconda? Let's see. Maybe Pet Pal. Oh, fuck talking animals for now. Stench. Stench decreases everyone's attitude towards you by 25, but melee opponents will find you less attractive in combat. We're going to leave all that alone for now. And from there, we can edit our standard attributes. So we have a good mix going here. It's more spread out than I'm used to, but we'll leave it alone. And that just, it's based point for point. Doesn't like double up or get harder as you go. It's just straight out point for point. And our skills. So, you're going to be familiar with this window throughout the game because these are all the categories of the combat abilities we saw there on the left. So, Man-at-Arms was one of ours, and Hydrosophist was the other. So, do we want Divine Light? Decreases willpower and value. Let's get rid of that, I think. Let's remove it and get something else in there. Slow current slows the target, 80% chance to set a slow. Nah, I like more for combat, so we'll take another Cure Wounds. It's always beautiful. And melee power stance. So improves damage of melee attacks, except our chance to hit is lowered by 10%. Damage is increased by 25%. Let's leave it. Let's keep that. And his strength, our chance to hit. Dexterity. Critical chance initiative. Probably in strength. Okay, so there's quite a lot to it. I mean, you choose your skills, you can do that for each of your characters, tailor them to exactly how you want. Remember, each of these characters are your main character. So if you're a big RPGer and are only for, you know what, I want to make the character who is mine and roleplay that character, it may not appeal to you, but it's something new and it's fucking interesting. I mean, the whole social system in this game is just so worth it. So you'll get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about in 1 minute. So let's accept that. And let's leave her alone as such. Okay, so there we go. We have a customized cleric, and we have our standard knight, just so you can see what's involved with the knight. He has Cure Wounds, Battering Ram, and Courage in his standard abilities there. Good. Let's change his personality. Let's make him loyal. We'll leave his warrior voice, and we'll accept. Let's get it going. Here we go. Yes.
In the days of old,
super interesting story, actually. The writing in this game is fantastic. The quests are well written.
But a terrible darkness
and as we see here, it's kind of just giving you a recap on what's what. You are a source hunter.
Once healed, now only destroy, and madness has overtaken them. A few brave source hunters are all that stand between Rivellon and the dark power that threatens to destroy it. Wherever source appears, hunters follow.
There we go, source hunters. So we're getting that shit in check. Nice little cutscene here, just kind of explains what's going on, where they're dropping you off, and why they're dropping you off. I don't want to get into too many spoilers here, so I'm actually going to skip that. Remember, the point of this video is just to show you whether or not you will like the game. That was done with kind of animated paintings in that cutscene. It's very nice, pretty. So, this all looks familiar. As you can see, it's kind of a top-down view. Point and click, pretty standard. Look at this photo. Never change that. Okay. And you can select between the two. Right? That's it for movement. Combat's turn-based, like I say. Each of your characters has a skill bar on the bottom, which you can drag anything from your inventory on, scrolls, potions, extra skills that you unlock as you go. There's many traps and puzzles in this game, so a big part of that, it doesn't happen a lot, but you have the ability to separate your party, okay? So now they're moving separate from each other. So you may have to, like, for example, leave this guy on a plate while this one goes and activates something else to fix a trap or activate some kind of puzzle. To get them back, you just drag and link, and they're back together. Let's leave with the chick. Okay, let's go into the inventory a bit. We have a standard-looking inventory. All our attributes. Sight, hearing, movement, initiative. That will be as far as detecting traps and you know, hearing movement of enemies in the distance and hidden areas, that kind of thing. Right? The damage, armor blocking, critical chance, that's all pretty standard. We have not much as far as resistances go right now, but there they are. Nice little inventory setup, lots of options to equip gear. We all love that. We all love a double ring space, don't we? What's the point if you can only equip one ring? An amulet, a shield, a main hand. You see here you have wrists, your chest piece, helmet, belt, boots. Pretty standard. Here's our skills that we were looking at when we created our character, our talents, which you can unlock more as you go, and extra traits you pick up as you go. If you do certain things in the game, you can unlock these traits, which kind of give you bonuses or that kind of thing. Now, one little complaint, one of my only complaints actually, is the inventory. It's your standard block view. You know, you could have a whole fucking slew of things as you pick up everything as you go. I know I like to loot everything, pick up everything, and this gets kind of crowded. Now you can sort it, which is beautiful, but it's a bit clunky. That's my only complaint. Crafting, you do it right in your inventory. You don't need a workbench. You just literally drag and drop an item onto another item. If you have the necessary crafting skill, you can merge them and craft whatever. Arrows, armor, that kind of thing. There's alchemy. Alright, and just like so, you can switch between your characters. Pretty standard, very familiar to any of you who have played this type of RPG. Huge map, okay? So this is just the starting area, actually. It's large. And for many of you, I know a main question is going to be, well, how linear is it? Is there lots of exploring? Can I go off and do side quests? Yes, yes, and yes. It's fucking huge. There's all kinds of side quests. There's caves. It's a whole pre-made world, and it's all there for your exploring. You can skip half of it if you want. You can go in and explore everything and do every quest if you want. It's beautifully done. Your journal. So this is kind of like your quest journal. This game, like I said, it's challenging. It doesn't hold your hand. As far as figuring shit out, it's all on you. There's no pointers to say quests are this way or that kind of thing. You just have your journal, which will give you hints and journal as you go. Right? We have been sent to Sicil to investigate the murder of Councillor Jake. The wizard Arthur will meet us in the harbor to elaborate. That's it. It doesn't tell us where the harbor is. We just got to find our way there. And as you get this stuff, I personally like this. The sense of reward and accomplishment is huge. You know, when you complete a quest, when you figured it all out on your own, from reading what's what and where you should go and little hints, it's so rewarding in the end. And that's basically how every quest works in this game. Even the main quest. It doesn't hold your hand. It just kind of updates as you go, and you got to figure it out for yourself, which is awesome. Secrets, dialogues, map, recipes. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Intuitive enough. You know, standard enter combat is space, usually. Sneak mode is crouch, which is hilarious. I mean, it's very neat. It works well if you have the sneak ability. Your standard control. So, you know, you pan with the mouse cursor to the edge of the screens. I personally would rather play with my WASD. So I use that to pan my camera. I find it a lot easier, a lot quicker. I don't have to move my cursor every time I want to kind of check something out. You have a map which you can zoom in and out of here. And that's pretty well it. You have dialogue going on, the background stuff in this window, and then you have a chat window here. Okay, so it's literally a local chat window because, as I said, if you have multiplayer activated, people can hop into your game at any point and join you in your quest. So, explore as you go, you find out the shroud. Now, you can hold Alt, well, in my control scheme anyway. We're familiar with that. It'll bring up stuff that you can loot off the ground. Search everything with wooden crates. Okay, so here's the Adventurer's Field Guide, Volume 9. a book about crafting used to read. You found a book. Oh yeah, take all is space. That's right, space. Another beauty thing. When you mouse over shit you've looted, it says empty. I love that feature. I hate it when I forget what I've looted and I have to go back. I'm a compulsive looter, and you just kind of...
If I didn't know there were
quite
orc
annoying.
ships raiding to the west, I'd mistake this for a placid beach.
At least the orcs make a bit of
Okay.
noise when they attack.
So isn't that interesting? They communicate as you go, and like I said, there'll be situations where something will trigger a conversation between them, an actual conversation that you control. So you really work on this relationship. It's a huge part of the game. You're literally, your main characters in this game can end up hating each other if you want. They can work for completely different reasons, or they can kind of bond together. Can they hook up in the end? I don't know if it's that kind of game. I haven't really made it that far. Not really the point of this video. But with a nice little search on Google, I'm sure you can find your answer. Okay, so it's not telling us where to go. I'm just exploring. I'm going to try to show you some combat here before we wrap it up.
Is that a corpse? What's it doing here alone?
What, did you expect it to have an entourage?
Magic scroll. Okay, so scrolls. There's a little sample of your inventory, so you should read all these books. Right-click on anything in your inventory gives you extra options. So you can send it to your other characters, drop, destroy. Right? Recipe unlocked. So make sure you read all the books you find. That is really how you unlock recipes. A note about skills. To learn new skills, so this I showed you at the start when we created a character. As we know, she had Man-at-Arms in her skill set and Hydrosophist in her skill set. There's also a special category here, which everyone seems to have this Staff of Magus skill. It's a little kind of offensive attack, I guess, that you have to, each character will have by default. So she has these ones unlocked. There's more than 3 in each category. Don't think this is all of them. You just, it all kind of depends on the, where your skill is at. So, in this case, skills, Man-at-Arms. Okay, so you'll see, as you unlock them, allows you to learn and use 5 Man-at-Arms skills at level 2. I can unlock more and use more skills. And that's really how it works. Skills are learned through books. You find skill books, which directly relate to the skill that you will learn. So you just kind of right-click it, read. If you have the required, the prerequisites for it, you will learn the skill. And those are the basic mechanics of the game. So around that, tons of exploring, tons of traps. I would love to show you a trap. Let's, wait, what's he got, a journal or some shit here? Traveler's journal, okay. Go on, let's try to find some combat. These are your waypoint kind of portals. You find them throughout the map, and you can use them for fast travel. Okay, we got some combat up here, so let's get to it. Of course, there's a whole area here which I haven't explored, which I should probably go do. Boom.
Curses
combat.
upon them, source hunters!
It's rock and roll!
Secure the stone! I'll deal with these rats.
Goddess be with you, Master!
Like I said, great writing, great story. It's actually quite interesting. Oh, pussies are gonna run. Nope.
Arise!
They're gonna
Drawn
bring
forth
out
from
some undead.
blood, I bid you aid me.
Alright. Combat. Turn-based. Yes. So. Okay. You have your standard, you should all be familiar with this if you've played this type of RPG. It's the kind of sequence of turns to tell you who's going to go when. So, action points you see down there, just above my health bar here. It will tell me how many action points, like walking is going to move. To hit him, 5 action points. So I can activate this, use 0 action points. So let's get it going. Remember, less chance, 10% less chance we're going to hit, but 25% more damage, so worth it in my opinion. Boom! I think I have it on easy right now, so note that combat isn't always going to be this easy. On normal, this game is actually really fucking tough. If you haven't ever played this type of game, or, you know, a turn-based RPG, be careful, because normal, it can be just kick your ass as far as morale goes. So you're going to be okay in the start, you're going to find an area that you're just not going to be able to get by. That's actually a point worth mentioning. So, on your map, you can add custom markers. There is a key for it. Or maybe I can't do it yet because we're still so new. Yeah, there. So double click and you can like add a marker. So custom. And why, you may ask. So you're going to want to flag certain areas on your map. I mean, you don't have to, but it's a wonderful option to have. You're going to find areas in this game, like I said, it doesn't hold your hand. So you're going to find areas that are way above your level. You're going to find monsters that you're not going to be able to beat. Bosses that you're not going to be able to beat. Traps that you're not going to be able to get by. And you may have to wait till you level up a bit. So you're going to have to go exploring somewhere else, mark it if you want to remember to come back, and come back to it later. I love that kind of game, personally, that doesn't kind of tailor to exactly your level. It keeps it challenging and it keeps it fresh as you go. So, oh, we got let's battering ram these. Okay, so, boom! Just like that. I handled that well.
Their leader said something about escaping with a stone.
Stolen from this dungeon, I imagine. Can we get inside?
Okay, a little bit about the camera. Yeah, you can zoom right in. You can spin it a certain amount. Okay? Now, it's not meant... You can unlock that in the menu, but it does warn you that the main campaign isn't built to have a full 360 camera. So you may have areas with artifact and funny-looking walls and that kind of thing. So I just kind of left that alone. This is enough, more than enough to play with. It still looks beautiful. It's set up, it's created to make to look like this. So I just kind of... I usually leave it zoomed out all the way, which it is right now. Can I open this? Yes. Here we go. So our first kind of dungeon sort of thing. So I'm holding Alt. There's nothing in the immediate vicinity that we can pick up or throw. So yeah, that's a good thing to know. You can pick items up and move them. And that will all depend on your strength. So depending on your strength rating, you may want... And why would you do that, you may ask? So there may be plates that you have to activate that are further away than you can get to. There's so many different situations where that comes in. There may be explosive material of some sort on the ground, and you can ignite it. It's such a cool element. Elements. So the elements are a huge part of this game, and I'm talking like water, fire, electricity, there's even like blood, poison. All of it can be used in combat. So if like for example, the best example would probably be if you have, there's a pool of blood on the ground, let's say, and you have an enemy or two standing in it, you can actually electrocute that blood. It's liquid, it conducts, and it will fry your enemies who are standing in it. If there's burnable material, you can light it with candles or an explosive arrow or a fire arrow of some sort. It brings up so many options for combat, and sometimes you have to use it to succeed. So what's this? A chest. The chest doesn't look very solid. Try breaking it open. That's one option, you know? You can... How did it say to do that? Hold control. There it is. So you hold control. I did not mean... What the fuck? That must be a bug. Okay, it jumped up there for some reason, but little glitch, that's okay. Alright. You know, here's a rat scurrying around. For example, this is blocking our path. We can't get through. We're gonna have to move some of this shit. Some things are too heavy to move. You're going to find there's certain, like, water barrels, explosive barrels, that kind of thing, that you can use to your advantage.
Careful. There's a mine in the middle of our path.
Okay.
Someone must have an interest in protecting whatever's kept here.
So detect traps came in, so I think you can get right in and deactivate it if you have the skill, or... Boom! Okay, so there's some fire on the ground. An example of how the elements kind of lay out. So there'll be a big area that is either on fire or full of water or, you know, some poison. It will go out eventually. You can affect it. So let's say you have a rain spell or a water spell of some sort. There's a bunch of fire here and you just want it out. You can cast it on that element and it will put it out for you. Holding Alt, we get a nice kind of view of what's in our vicinity. Look at that, a key. Let's check it out. And all of the areas you explore are so unique. So they don't, like, it's not like every dungeon you go in is going to look like this, or it doesn't repeat so much. So it's very varied in that way, which is beautiful. Right? Key to the chest, gold. How gold works. So each of your characters have gold on them. Like, for example, if Roderick here needs to repair his shit and she's holding all the gold, he won't be able to. You gotta kind of divvy your gold out to each character in your party if you want them to be able to repair their stuff at a merchant, or buy anything at a merchant. If they don't have the gold in their inventory, they can't do it. Let's try to give you another...
I've always heard there's typically more to a king's tomb than meets the eye.
It could be a myth.
Normally I would play more thoroughly than this, but I'm just kind of, I want to show you the basics. What's this? A secret room.
This seems to be broken.
Boom. Okay, so detect traps is quite good, so let's... I'm sure this was low enough because it's a bit of a tutorial area to detect like a switch on a wall. The music's fantastic in this game. The sound is wonderful. Okay, so let's bash this down.
We made short work of that.
It's not always that easy.
I don't imagine our weapons would
bashing
survive such use
does
so
take a big toll on your weapons as far as
Bashing through
durability.
every entrance we find is bound to affect our gear's durability.
If durability gets to 0, your item is not broken forever, you can repair it. You know, you can save and load at any point with F5, okay? Just quick save anytime you want, other than combat. A water spell. Do we have a water spell? We do. Ah, this is nice. So, a good example to show you today. Okay, so when you're casting spells or shooting things that have an AoE, you'll see it outlined of where they're going. So this is a rain spell that's going to affect everywhere. Because we're inside, we can still cast it. It's fucking magic, yo! Let's do it. Ah, nice. Fuck, that's cool. Steam, right? Steam affects field of vision. That's another big part of this game. You put fire out with water, you're going to get steam. To shoot an enemy through that steam is going to get a little more tough because of your field of vision. A trap disarm toolkit.
Careful now. That's a trap.
Okay, pretty standard. Let's get it up here. And that's how lockpicks work as well. You have them on your bar, and then you kind of click them, and then click on whatever you want to unlock. See, that's lock. Is there a lockpick around? The yellow dot on your map is a mouse. Is she able to communicate with pets? I don't think so.
Let me know if you need a thing.
Does she actually have Pet Pal? Oops. No, she doesn't. We didn't take it. So, yeah, that rat just kind of talked to us, but if we had Pet Pal, we could maybe go into a full conversation with the rat. That's an extra kind of way to pick up quests and that kind of thing. So, if you're a completionist in that sense and want every single quest in the game done, you're going to want to take Pet Pal to be able to talk to animals. because they can, in some cases, give you... It's locked. So you see, it's kind of trapping me out here, doing this, you know, can't get here, can't get there, and it's making me think. There's, you know, it's a bit of a puzzle involved. It's a pretty basic puzzle in this case, I know. So here's some lock picks, I'll show you that. On her bar. I don't know if she has much of a lock-picking skill, but it's probably enough to get through this tutorial area. Okay, so this is Poison Cloud. You can ignite poison, as far as I know. Lockpick. Okay, space takes all. Poison arrow. Now, let's... Can I grab one of these? I want to grab a candle. I think... I don't know if this is the way to do it. There's probably a fire arrow here somewhere, but I'm just going to do this the hard way. Generally, they don't make you drag things across the fucking dungeon like this. It's not, you know, that's kind of a immersion-breaking mechanic, so they're pretty good at keeping you away from doing stuff like that. So as you see, my throws are dependent on my strength. I bet you that I think my knight had higher strength, so let's get him. And no, stay here. What are you doing, bitch? She just ran in there. Glitch. Oh, here, look. A fireball scroll. That was the key. There's the ticket. So like I said, poison can be ignited with fire. Let's do it. There it is. And we have a burning effect on the ground. Right? So every elemental... Whoops. Does it heal? Sure. Okay, so you see, you have a good idea of how magic works, how you cast it, action points in combat, everything from moving around to hitting someone with a sword or an axe or any other kind of two-handed or one-handed weapon you can find. So that's really it for Divinity Original Sin. Like I said, lots to the game, so deep, so much gameplay. You're going to put many, many, many hours into this game before you complete it all. If you want something that requires a big investment as far as time goes, this is a great choice. If the games like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, and that kind of line of those old school Dungeons and Dragons games appeal to you, or any turn-based really RPG appeal to you, this game has it for you. You will love it. I promise you, if you like RPGs, if you like turn-based, you will not be disappointed with this. I love it. That's my opinion. Remember, this is not a review, but I hope this has helped you out in making the decision whether or not you want to purchase it. Remember what I say, let me waste my money so you don't have to. That's Shizwhack on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch TV. That'll be it for today on this episode of Should I Buy It? Have a great one, peeps. Peace.